Hello and welcome to another video. This is Juan here. Today we're having a look at the employer's role in the apprenticeship program. Right, as mentioned in one of my previous videos, there are three specific key roles when it comes to the employer, which are the learning and development or early careers manager, the line manager, and the mentor of the apprentice. So I'm gonna focus on these three today, but before that, let me bring again the document from the government in terms of roles and responsibilities, and let me remind you that apprentices spend 80% of the time with you, the employer, so it's quite important that you understand exactly what it is that they need to do and the best way of supporting. So let's go through these government documents and let me just quickly look at my notes. Right, so we're gonna go first of all with point number 1. Right, so the employer is expected to work with their selected provider to identify and agree the most suitable apprenticeship standard. What does it mean? Basically, look that those KSBs that are going to be developed at the end of the apprenticeship will fit the job role of the apprentice or the person looking to start the apprenticeship. Let me now move on to number 5, which is, as an employer, expected to agree with the training provider, the endpoint assessment organization, at least 6 months prior to the end of the program. Something quite relevant to consider because this will allow enough time for apprentices and for all parties to prepare for EPA. Now we move on to point number 6, which is, you can see, the more chunky and possibly the most important. So the employer is expected to contribute and agree to the plan of training as developed by the training provider. Within this plan, there are certain activities that are crucial, and let me just take you through them. First of all, you as an employer are expected to deliver the off-the-job training, especially now during summer when there are no lectures. So apprentices are expected to be exposed to job rotations, some e-learning, some shadowing, right, or any sort of specific projects or relevant projects that might not be in the daily practice, right? So in order to develop those different KSBs. The next point is allow the apprentice to complete their off-the-job training during the normal working hours. This is something crucial when it comes to the government funding rules. The next one is you're expected to give the apprentice the appropriate support and supervision and other opportunities to consolidate new learning in the workplace. Again, it's quite linked to what we have just discussed or looked at. As employers, you're expected to assist the training provider in collecting evidence of off-the-job training. This information can be held by you as the employer. In this case, we're looking at those e-learning platforms that some companies might have. The next bit is you're expected to contribute to progress reviews, quite relevant to look into the progress of your apprentices on the quarterly basis or every 12 weeks when it comes to the government guidelines. And the final point is agree with the apprentice and training provider when the learning is completed and the apprentice is ready to undertake the endpoint assessment. It's basically the employer's call to say or to determine when the apprentice has achieved the right level of competence in order to apply for EPA. Now, let's have a look at how this could be applied to each of the positions, each of the roles that I previously listed, right? To me, the starting point is understanding what to be an apprentice entitled. So to understand all the different components that they're expected to comply with, which will be attending to the lectures and recording what they can record there. Obviously prepare for the exams and coursework, attend the 20% activities and record them, which is not an easy aspect you need to consider. So it might be a little bit difficult to prioritize or to fit in all those activities from the different roles that we're gonna have a look at in a minute. So let me start with those careers, early careers or professional development managers. So I think if you're one of them, to me, you play a key role when it comes to making everyone aware in the company of what that's entitled to be an apprentice. In order to do that, you will need to understand the KSBs, you will need to understand the assessment plan, you will need to understand exactly what sort of activities again the apprentices are expected to be exposed to. But also I think you play a crucial role in terms of identifying the right training that could be provided from the company to the apprentices. And also I think from your side, you'll be the person enforcing or reminding to an extent the line manager the importance of allowing or fitting in the 20% training, that exposure to different activities of the apprentice, right? Which now takes us down onto the line manager. So obviously you as a line manager, you're the one working on a daily basis pretty much with the apprentice. You're the one organizing what activities have been assigned to the apprentice. So again, please be aware that your apprentice is expected to be 20% of the working hours and the training and the exposure of different activities. So please make sure you allow for that. But also, I would like to mention that I have attended during the last year or couple of years different webinars or forums specifically for line managers, and they are not that popular. I seem to be a little bit of, I don't know how to say this, it will be a bit of not rejection, but everyone is looking at becoming a mentor like something really complicated, right? So as a line manager, I think being you the first contact of apprentices, a simple question at the end of the week, at the end of each period, at the end of each project, like how are they doing in terms of the apprenticeship, will help a lot, because that's gonna get you closer to them. It's not just about the project that they need to be delivered within the company, but it's about how this person is doing and understanding if they do need any sort of support. Obviously, your attendance to progress reviews are quite crucial, and probably that's the best place and opportunity that you have to understand what is it that the apprentice has been doing in the recent few months. Which now takes me down onto the role of the mentor, right? So the mentor is expected to be someone professionally recognized. Here you got a list of the different institutions. These are only some of them. Obviously, when it comes to my area of exposure, I know the Institute of Civil Engineers or the Institute for Structural Engineers, Institute of Highways Engineering, or the Royal Institute of British Architects, right? As a mentor, okay, you are the person who will be kind of encouraging the apprentices to be aligned with the activities required to become professionally recognized. So ideally you should be meeting, same as with the progress reviews, every quarter, and trying to provide the best of your guidance in terms for them to align with, again, that professional recognition at the end of the program. Right, as everyone is aware, this channel is mainly focused on civil engineering, so let's have a look at what is there in the document provided by the Institute of Civil Engineers and what we can see in the section for roles and responsibilities for the employer. Right, so first bit is going to be, you're expected to understand the requirements of the apprenticeship standards and assessment plan. I believe this is crucial for the early careers or professional development managers within the company. The next bit is read the EPA guidance published by the ICE. This is quite relevant for the line manager and the mentor, because there is certain alignment on the endpoint assessment with the professional recognition. So that, I think that's quite crucial for mentors. In this case, I would say either incorporated, chartered, or fellow engineers. So again, understanding what that's entitled to be an apprentice and how to get the most of it. The next bit is Ensure that you and the apprentice know the registered end date. Quite relevant. This is the agreement between the three parties in terms of when the apprenticeship is expected to be completed. Make sure that the apprentice understands the requirements of initial professional development. This is going to be aligned again with that professional recognition. Please make sure you have a look at the guidance in the ICE. Ensure that the apprentice is gaining the correct depth and breadth of experience in relation to KSBs. Again, we go back to what was mentioned earlier on in terms of providing that 20% of the job training and making sure that different activities take place within especially summer period, I would say, right? Make sure that the MDO, the member development officer, is coming and visiting your company, right? So I think we go back here to the early careers or development managers, right? So make sure you have been in contact with one of the MDOs, and whenever they visit the company, make sure they meet the apprentices, and so they can have this info, the opportunity to gain more awareness about what's required from them at the end of their apprenticeship. Whole quarterly reviews, again, we go back to that commitment. Obviously, that's where the knowledge, skills, and behaviors usually get checked. Make sure you do that. Actively engage with the ICE. Obviously, keep in contact with them and keep them updated about any changes or anything that you might be struggling with when it comes to delivering those apprenticeships. Right, so I think this is all. If you are part of a company, if you're a line manager, a mentor, or any early careers or development manager, make sure you drop your thoughts down in the comments box below. And that has been all for today. Many thanks for joining, and remember that knowledge shared is knowledge square. See ya in the next video. Bye.